Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing yet another movie review for you all, so hopefully you find this one interesting. This movie is a horror film from the USA. This has nearly no dialogue in it whatsoever, so it relies on body language and visuals. Released in the year 2024, directed by E.L. Katz, and this film is called Azrael. So Azrael takes place in the future. We have a post-apocalyptic world, and now humanity is living in very harsh conditions. So deep in these woods, we have a cult. Now the cult believe that the end of the world is brought upon them because of their sins. So to repent for these sins, they decide that they're no longer going to talk to each other. They're not going to communicate through language. It's all going to be through body language and whistling. And so this is going to appease the gods, and that this is going to bring them a lot more fortune. But unfortunately for one of these cult members, she decides that she wants to escape because she sees that there's a better life out there. But the cult members capture her. Now, as punishment, they're going to sacrifice her to something in these woods that's going to be absolutely terrifying, and that if they do that, it's going to bring fortune upon them. But unfortunately for the cult, this cult member actually escapes again. Now, she's hell-bent on actually getting to her destination. She doesn't know what that destination is, but she believes getting away from this cult is, the best thing to do. But that's going to have a devastating effect not only on her physical health, but also her mental health. So whether or not she can muster the strength to finally break free is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I am going with my synopsis. Now, my thoughts on Azrael. This isn't the first movie to use the novelty of no dialogue. And so a lot of movies have actually used this gimmick, telling a story through body language, through visuals. It's a very difficult thing to do. And so this is why I'm always excited to see a movie of this nature, because it demonstrates a strong level of confidence from a director to actually allow the viewer to use their own brain. So these days everyone wants to be force-fed things. Everyone wants to have their hand held and shown exactly what's going on. But in these movies, this is something that actually allows the viewer to use their own intelligence. And so when I saw the trailer, I read the synopsis, I thought, okay, this is a gimmick that has been done. And sometimes it's been done well and other times it hasn't been done so well. But when I saw the trailer and Samara Weaving as the main character, I thought, all right, well, they are very interesting qualities. Very interesting ingredients in a recipe that I was hoping would be worth the effort. And so after finally watching Azrael, I will say that the gimmick does wear thin by the end of the film, but overall it was actually quite enjoyable, and I was surprised by how nasty this movie actually gets. Now, to start off with, this is a post-apocalyptic film. So if you like your post-apocalyptic sort of stuff, this is a film that really gets you into that certain sense of hopelessness. And because there is no real dialogue, you're not actually told what is going on. So there's a strong level of vulnerability that really doesn't wear off from start to finish. And that's something that I really like. There's a strong level of discomfort. That discomfort is emphasised through the very harsh visuals. It's a very grey sort of visual feeling that the film has. It's a very dirty sort of feeling. You don't know why the end of the world has come about, but you know that now these conditions are really, really harsh, and that harsh sort of environment really seeps through in a very psychological way. So the psychological net that this movie really grabs you in is probably the most impressive quality about the movie. It doesn't need the violence to show you that this is a very hard way of living. So Samara Weaving's performance as its main character I thought was actually fairly decent. She was a character that I could really sympathise for, not necessarily because I liked her as a person, but because of what she actually goes through. This is an endurance test. The amount of pain inflicted upon her wouldn't only take a devastating effect on her physically, but mentally I could feel that she was getting really worn out. And so the movie had a fairly strong idea, and the gimmick actually, it actually works for the majority of the film. And so I kept on thinking, there are moments where I thought, well, what is going on? Why are they doing this? Why is she so desperate to escape? And those questions that are left unanswered, I actually thought it worked in its benefit. So the whole film has a very a fast sort of pacing to it. It's a very brisk sort of film. It's very in your face. It doesn't really stop. I thought the tone was very consistent, and the overall continuity was also very consistent. And so there's a lot of action in the movie, and I thought the action choreography was fairly decent. But what surprised me the most about this movie is how nasty the violence is. The violence was just really, really gnarly, and it wasn't really enjoyable. I could really appreciate the extremity that the film goes to, but I wouldn't say this is a film that you're going to marvel in all the depravity. This is a movie where you're going to flinch. And I thought the violence was shown very hard hitting, and it has even more of an impact. So there's characters that you don't necessarily relate to on a personal level because it's such a foreign sort of environment, but it's something that you can really sympathise for because of the pain that is inflicted upon them. So not only pain through the atmosphere, but pain through the visuals. The gore effects I thought were absolutely fantastic, and the threat that resides in these woods I thought was terrifying as well. And again, not really explained. And so if you don't have your hand held, you feel as though you're disorientated. You feel as though you're vulnerable to a point where it becomes even even more scary. And so the film isn't overly scary, but the fact that it doesn't answer questions that a lot of other films do, it kind of leaves you up in the air, and it feels as though that level of vulnerability is intensifying as the movie goes on. So I have issues with the movie. By the end of the film, I thought, all right, well, the movie is really relying on that gimmick, and I thought, all right, by the end of the film, it was kind of outstaying its welcome. But I will say about the 3/4 mark, there is a scene inside a car that really put the cat amongst the pigeons. It really took me off guard, because after this particular scene that I'm not going to give away, I thought to myself, is there an actual different world existing outside of these woods? And again, it doesn't answer that question to a point where it ties up loose ends. It leaves it up to your interpretation, which makes the film a lot of fun, because a lot of other people might come out there and they might throw their theories out in the open, and you can really discuss them. And so this is a film where E.L. Katz has demonstrated a lot of confidence, and that's something that is very rare these days. People want to recycle stuff that's been done before, that's very popular, but to have directors that come out and make a film where it forces the viewer to use their own brain, I think it's a very risky thing to do, and it's something that definitely needs to be applauded. And so I was surprised by how much I appreciated this movie. I was expecting to hate it, but I come away actually very impressed by what I got. It's definitely a novelty kind of film, but I thought there was enough ingredients around it to really warrant this movie worth viewing. So overall, for Azrael, I'm going to give this one 3 stars. I was impressed. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.